told his disciples this parable. A man going on a journey called in his servants and entrusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to a third 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Immediately the one who received 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5. Likewise the one who received 2 made another 2. The man who received 1 went off and dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them. The one who had received 5 talents came forward, bringing the additional 5. He said, "Master, you gave me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you are faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who received 2 talents also came forward and said, "Master, you gave me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you are faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who had received the 1 talent came forward and said, "Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting when you did not plant and gathering when you did not scatter. So out of fear I went off and buried your talent in the ground. Here it is back." His master said to him in reply, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvested where I did not plant and gathered where I did not scatter? Should you not then have put my money in the bank so that I've got back with interest on my return? Now then, take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will grow rich. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And throw this useless servant into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord.
Tempted to do a homily on distaffs and spindles. I don't know if you know what those are, but you've got to get used to working the distaff and the spindle. Especially the girls, I don't know. What's a distaff? Well, they weren't really paying too much. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We got some other officers that I think were just spending the time back there wailing and grinding their teeth. Mostly had a sister that was kind of single. Anyways, it's the end of the liturgical year. You know, the leaves are falling and the readings get to these really dramatic and in some ways harsh realities of the end of time. But you know, all these parables about the end of time should not paralyze us with fear, but they should leave us with this motivation. The end is coming, for sure, right? But it hasn't happened yet. Look around, the sun's coming up, and we're here. There's still time. Time that's precious, time that's full of potential, time that's ours to do something special with. Today's parable is about that. The end is coming. The master's coming back. What have you done? It'd be so easy to skip to the end and focus on that wicked servant. At least I see so much of myself in him. But it's the beginning of the parable that really gives us the key. Man is going on a journey. Sounds a little too deist for me, this image that I think much of the world has of God, that God kind of came and get things going, and then he just disappears, and he'll be back someday. He's that cosmic watchmaker up in heaven, kind of looking down at us. The truth, this is a story, remember? It's a parable. The truth is much more profound. But in some ways we can see God's presence as an absence. So the master goes on a little journey, and he gives his servants out of his own possessions. He gives them from his own stuff. The stuff he gives, the stuff that they're going to be servants of, or stewards of, is the master's stuff. I think that's a theme that Matthew comes back to time and time again. I think it's so easy for us to think about the talents that we have, or the possessions that we have, or the things we've earned, or the wisdom that we've we work so hard at it, is ours. Really, it all flows from God. Really, if you think about it, everything we have, everything that we are, just right down to our very DNA and the breath that flows through us, is a gift from God. The Master gives us from his own possessions. Here's your life. Here's goodness. Here's salvation. Here's the stuff of this world. What are you going to do with it? We know the actions of the stories, right? I mean, the first two go off and they're industrious and they immediately go out and double their possessions. And the third immediately digs a hole and buries it. And the Master returns. Remember, it's a story. For them, he's back. For you and for me, still some time. What are we doing with those possessions? So the first servant's called in, and he says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Remember when Jesus was asked, Master, good Master, what shall I do to earn eternal life? He says, "Why do you call me good? Only one is good, your Father in heaven." That's still true. So how are these good and faithful servants? Well, they've taken the Father's possessions. They've taken the goodness from the Father and participated in it, doubled it, increased it, taken that goodness and plugged into it, made it their very own, and then handed it back. That's being faithful. That's being in that relationship with the Father that produces good fruit. A good tree will only produce good fruit. A bad tree can't produce good fruit. Well done, good and faithful servant. We'll give you more responsibility and increase your joy. Come share in the Master's joy. And if you didn't get it the first time, Jesus is the ultimate storyteller. Let me try that one more time. Remember that guy with the 5? Well, there's another guy, he's got 2. And it's not a quantity that gives us the Father's joy, or is the reason why we're called good and faithful. The guy with the deuce gets as much as the guy who produces the whole Lincoln. But it's they receive the Master's possessions. They participated in the Master's goodness. They were faithful in his service, and they can share the Master's joy. Then there's the third. Matthew loves contrast, right? Here comes the third guy, and he's very different than the first two. What was it? One of these things is not like the other. Let's start with his perspective. From his perspective, he's serving a master that scatters or gathers where he does not scatter, and harvests where he does not plant. He's a demanding master. From this guy's perspective. Doesn't the world sometimes look at God that way? In my little time of life, I haven't seen you around, God. Where have you been? We're the ones kind of trying to straighten out this world, and you're up in heaven, I don't know what you're doing, playing cards or something. Where have you been? You're kind of a demanding master, and you make me scared. And out of that fear, and it's a different fear than we heard in the psalm today. The fear of the Lord should be a fear that inspires awe and wonder. It inspires us to walk with him in a sense of wonderment. This guy's fear causes him to dig a hole and stuff the goodness in it. And just leave it there buried. It paralyzes him. It cripples him. It freezes him. That's not good. Goodness flows. Goodness moves. Goodness produces life, salvation, love. All that stuff is ours to be given away. That's the great mystery of God's goodness. You would think you kind of cling to it and you got it. But when you cling to it, it dies. God's goodness is the stuff that moves, goes forward. And Jesus said, he who tries to protect his life will lose it. If you give your life away, you'll have it in full. in the end, that burying, that freezing, that hiding leads that third servant to a place of utter darkness, where there's just wailing and grinding of teeth. But you know, it's a story, really with a deep truth, right? The truth of the story is really, really true. But it's a story, and there's still time. You know, we've got the master's possessions, not just the amazing life that we live, because we're living in this country where we possess more than, whatever, 3/4 of the rest of the world combined. Not only the fortune of having our health and having just amazing physical gifts, but the ultimate possession that God's given us, this kingdom, this salvation, participating in his very life. And what will we do with it? Bury it? Hide in fear? Or be like that good servant and let that goodness grow, let that faithfulness be our guide. Father of all that is good, keep us faithful in serving you, for to serve you is our lasting joy.